Okay, so this is my attempt at hooking up an electric heater to my leisure battery. This is what I've bought. First of all, I've no idea if this is going to work. I've no idea if this is the best way of heating your camper van. I have no experience with this at all. I'm just showing you what I'm experiencing here. So this heater was only £20 off eBay. It's by a company called DWD. There's the model number. And I intentionally went for quite a small one. It's only 34 centimeters wide, and it's also quite low wattage, only 400 watt. So that should help. I am a little bit concerned with how well the leisure battery is going to cope with powering this. Obviously this plugs into the mains here, but I've got a power inverter. Now this is another thing I don't know very much about. This is a modified, a modified sine wave, which means it's basically not as good quality as a pure sine wave. Certain electronics have a power surge when you start them up, and if that's the case, if you're going to be running laptops or a microwave or certain other electronics, you'll need a pure sine wave inverter. But I'm just going for the crude heater, so this was nice and cheap, only 23 quid, something like that. So I spent 43 quid in total on this setup. But now it's time to give this a test in the mains, see how well it runs. Right, so I've had this plugged in for a while and that's kicking out a decent amount of heat, so I'm pleased with the heater. That's definitely a good little heater from what I can see so far, but it's time to set up the power inverter in the van and see how well it works in there. Okay, so I've got the cables here connected up to my leisure battery. If you want to know how to install a leisure battery, just click here at the top, and this seems to be working well. So switch it on there. You can see the lights and the fan. It's a little bit noisy, unfortunately. So now I'll try plugging the radiator in. Okay, so there's definitely heat coming out of that. Not quite sure if it's as high as when I had it plugged into the mains, but I can't really tell. But we'll give it a good test, because 9.3 degrees in here. So I'm going to wait for, say, 15 minutes, see if that changes. Okay, 15 minutes later, so let's have a look at the temperature. 13 degrees, so it's climbed sort of just under 4 degrees. That's not too bad, 15 minutes. Okay, so I've got that all mounted up on the front of the cupboard there. All I have to do if I want to use it is open the cupboard door here, grab the power cable and plug this in down here into the inverter, and then switch it on. And that powers up the radiator. Now, I've been using this a bit today, testing it out, and I've pretty much come to the conclusion that the battery goes flat, the leisure battery goes flat after about 20 minutes of use. Now, these inverters really are better used when the engine's switched on, then the alternator is providing constant voltage to it, rather than flattening the battery. But this is a leisure battery. It doesn't really matter if it goes flat, that's what it's for. It's isolated from the main battery by the split charge relay here, meaning this gets charged every time I drive my van. But if it goes flat, it doesn't really matter. I can still start my van up, and then this won't cause any major problems. So basically, it's good for a quick 15-20 minute boost. I spend a lot of my lunch breaks in here. It's nice to be able to. It'll be nice to be able to switch that on and just warm the van a little bit while I'm enjoying my lunch break. But this is not a good solution for like heating your van overnight or anything like that. I would be able to get a little bit more time out of it if I had a better battery. This is only a 45 amp hour battery, which is pretty low. You can get them in the hundreds, but again, that's only going to give you, 45 minutes or an hour of heat. But yeah, it's a nice simple little solution this, but it's not a solution to heating your van overnight. So cheers.